Well, there we have it. António Guterres is the new Secretary General of the United Nations, former Prime Minister of Portugal and head of the Refugee Agency. Do you know that by the end of his tenure, we will have had 82 years of uninterrupted male secretaries general? My God, that must be the highest level of male political hegemony in any area over the last couple of centuries. Now, when you think of it, we're going to have a female president of the United States. We're going to have, well, we already have a woman prime minister of the United Kingdom and a woman president of Germany, and more women ascending to higher political positions. But if I may speak on behalf of my gender, at the United Nations, we are protected. The United Nations will remain the monolithic bastion of male privilege, well, as of course it should be. Now, Guterres, on the other hand, has said that he's a feminist and therefore presumably embraces the principle of parity. And yet when you look back at his refugee organization, which he headed, you have in the upper echelon something approximating 40% among senior positions. But in the 5 most senior positions of the High Commission on Refugees, 4 of the 5 were occupied by men. Now, I may have some arithmetic difficulties, but 1 out of 5 doesn't seem to me to constitute parity. On the other hand, Guterres has a wonderful opportunity that is forthcoming. On the day he takes office, this January the 1st, 2017, it is tradition within the United Nations system for senior officials to offer their resignations. And those are resignations which Guterres should take in significant numbers of men. Men who, let us put it diplomatically, have not made a great contribution to the United Nations and can be well represented and replaced by first-rate women. So we'll watch Guterres at that moment in time, but it'll give us a good sense of what he's up to. He's considered a strong person, outspoken, a keen sense of diplomacy. He's going to have his work cut out for him, taking over the efforts at rapprochement between the United States and Russia over Syria, not to mention terrorism and refugees and sustainable development goals and poverty and all the other challenges that will face him. From the point of view of AIDS-free world, we are insistent that he deal with the sexual violence committed by United Nations peacekeepers, where Ban Ki-moon has failed utterly to confront the issue, has appointed a coordinator who's not up to the job, and generally speaking, we have a solution, but the United Nations doesn't. And they'll also have to deal, Guterres will have to deal, I suspect, with the fallout from the package prepared to deal with cholera in Haiti. Since the United Nations was responsible for the cholera, everything now complicated by the dreadful hurricane that has just beset that poor little island. Guterres will have endless challenges, but the basic challenge will be the resurrection of the United Nations as a credible body. You see, Ban Ki-moon leaves no legacy whatsoever. A handful of speeches written by others which attest to good works. But other than that, non-transparency, non-accountability, secrecy, and endless poor decisions. Somehow, Guterres will have to rescue the United Nations from the discredited reputation bequeathed to it by Ban Ki-moon. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.